For centuries, physics assumed the universe exists in a definite state, whether we are looking or not. Quantum mechanics shatters that comfort. This everyday intuition, the belief that objects possess fixed properties like position or spin, independent of observation, is known as local intrinsic realism. It assumes a particle carries its data internally, like a hidden blueprint that measurement simply reveals. In 1964, John Bell formulated a mathematical test to determine if these hidden internal blueprints actually exist. If particles carried independent preset values, the correlations in their behavior across distances would have to stay within a specific calculable limit. Decades of Bell tests repeatedly broke that limit, winning the 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics by proving particles do not carry hidden independent variables. We are left with a stark physical choice. Either signals are traveling faster than light to coordinate these particles, or context-independent properties do not exist. Since faster-than-light signaling has never been detected, the classical assumption of intrinsic properties fails. The failure of local intrinsic realism does not mean reality is an illusion. It indicates that the classical definition of what it means to exist is flawed. When the foundations of classical physics cracked, a philosophical vacuum opened up. In the effort to explain how properties remain undefined until interaction, theoretical physics saw a surge of metaphysical inflation. Effort's many worlds interpretation preserves reality by creating infinite, unobservable branching universes. In this model, every possible quantum outcome is realized somewhere, creating a universe of extreme ontological bloat. Other frameworks like quantum Bayesianism or cubism move towards subjectivity. These views treat the physical world as a personal data format or a mental interface, where the quantum state represents an agent's private betting odds rather than a shared external reality. This subjective drift fuels popular quantum mysticism, which posits that a universal field of consciousness sits at the base of reality. This view claims that human intention causes the manifest appearance of physical matter. This reasoning relies on a specific fallacy, equating the mathematical collapse of a wave function with the literal power of human intention. There is a tighter, more rigorous alternative. Quantum corporealism is a strictly material, relational model grounded in ancient Stoic philosophy and modern physics. Retreating into infinite universes or mystical consciousness abandons the search for a coherent physical world. A strictly relational physics provides a way to maintain realism without these metaphysical detours. Zeno of Citium established the foundational axiom of Stoic corporealism. To exist is the capacity to act or be acted upon. In this system, a body, a soma, is not an inert pellet of matter, but a dynamic node of causal power. If something cannot participate in the web of causal interaction, it lacks being. This matrix maps quantum debates onto ancient philosophical divides. Many worlds mirrors Aristotle's essentialism, filling reality with an unobservable multiverse. Cubism leans Platonic, treating quantum states as pure information. It reduces facts to private judgments, losing the shared physical substrate. Relational Quantum Mechanics, or RQM, offers a middle path. Its architect, Carlo Rovelli, frames reality through physical encounters. RQM mirrors Stoic corporealism by viewing being entirely as relational causality. Facts are finite, public, and built from specific physical events. By grounding facts in interactions, RQM avoids both the bloat of infinite worlds and the retreat into subjective mind. A property becomes real only when two causal systems meet. In RQM, properties are not inside objects. They crystallize during the encounter between systems. Consider two isolated nodes in empty space. Neither possesses internal spin data. When the systems meet, a process the Stoics called alloiosis, the property of spin appears on the connection itself. Spin up is a relational outcome, not an internal possession. This replaces the idea of an observer with the concept of a physical system. Any system capable of causal engagement counts as an observer. This mechanical detector at CERN interacts with and records quantum events without a conscious mind. Measurement is simply a physical exchange of information. There is no master ledger or background canvas. Reality consists of these interactions and nothing more. This perspective reveals reality as a mosaic of physical facts, where every property is locally indexed to a specific interaction. Entanglement, often framed as a mystical link, has a rigorous relational definition. It describes the inseparability of systems that share a common history. If particle A in Beijing and particle B in Vienna shared a past interaction, their outcomes remain correlated. We introduce system C. Relative to C, the particles remain undefined. The network state updates only when C physically contacts one. This triadic framework preserves the speed of light limit. Reality synchronizes only when causal records are physically compared. It requires no hidden properties and no invisible pilot waves. It relies entirely on the joint dispositions created by past encounters. These laboratory results anchor the Stoic axiom: to be is to participate in a web of causal efficacy. If the universe is composed strictly of physical interactions, we must account for the experience of consciousness without appealing to supernatural forces. Neuroscience models consciousness through predictive coding, a physical process of minimizing the mismatch between incoming signals and internal models. This aligns with the Stoic concept of pneuma, an active, corporeal field of tension. In this view, thoughts are high-tension configurations of this field, maintaining coherence through physical organization. If the foundation is ceaseless interaction, we must identify what prevents this flux from dissolving into pure noise. We look to the concept of logos, the ordering rule that channels raw interaction into stable geometry. These base rhythms borrow stability from the cycles below, organizing into the standing tensions we measure as quantum fields and spacetime. This ordering principle scales through chemistry and biology, eventually forming the dense electromagnetic networks of the brain. Reflective consciousness emerges as the peak of this rhythmic hierarchy, the physical universe modeling its own relational dynamics. The exact same relational logic governs every single scale, from subatomic interaction to the structure of the cosmos. This shift leads to changism, where time is not a universal container, but a derivative metric used to count local cycles of change. This model provides a complete account of the quantum world, without the need for infinite universes or mystical consciousness. By identifying reality as the web of interaction, we eliminate the need for a veil or a hidden transcendent lender of existence. To exist is to interact. The relational weave of the cosmos satisfies the requirements for both reality and wonder.